Hello and welcome to the Coon Hunting University podcast. This is your host, Tyler Duncan, and like always, class is in session. Coon Hunting University is brought to you by Conkey's Outdoors, hunting and hound supply store. Find out more at conkeys.outdoors.com. And Superior Hunting Lights. Superior, step up to the max. Use discount code CHU podcast at checkout and receive 5% off on nighthunters.com. So on the last one, we heard a lot about moose and koi and what they accomplished and some great stories. So on this one, they're going to talk more about Zeb 3 Flat Rock Coma in this one. Mr. Ronnie Nickens, they tell some funny stories about him. And also Mr. Barry Kiddy, and I want people to pay attention to this, but he has a very special message towards the end of this episode about parents getting their kids involved in hunting, you know, and how the right ways to do it. And I think it's a really important message that he wanted to get out there. So I want people to pay extra attention to that. And I'm going to quit yapping. Without further ado, here's part 3 of 3. And I'm sad to see this one end, but the Wipeout story. Y'all sit back and enjoy.
And all them, but now here's the other story. The little female called Ugg that me and Avery had, that he sold, a guy named Robert Odridge had. He ended up breeding her to Bandit. Guess what come out of that? I Knot, the one Al Nunman had. Guess what come out of I Knot? A little female called Bebe that Eric Henry had. And you know, you can look at it several ways. I bred Peaches. Okay, here's another story for you. I had Peaches, me and Lloyd C. had her. We'd already bred her first to koi, had a pretty good litter. Second cross, and Peaches had been winning everything. Rat was on fire. You know, Rat had been producing winners after winners. And me and Buzz and Kevin, we was all friends. And Avery, they was always partners in dogs. We talked heavy a lot. But Buzz ended up coming to my house, got Peaches from me, took her back up there, tried for 2 days to breed Rat to Peaches. And Peaches was a female that looked like moose. I mean, she was big. And Buzz thought, you know, he couldn't get her to breed her. He said, I believe her size intimidates him or something. Or maybe it was God that just said, hey, you know, this ain't right. And he called me back and he said, I can't do it. He said, I've tried. He said, I'm give up. And I said, I want her bred, Buzz. I said, I don't care what. I said, and he said, well, I got Son. I said, go breed her to Son. I'm fine with that. Ashley had been winning quite a bit with him at that time, and he was hot. So I said, that's fine. And soon as it wasn't 10 minutes, seemed like he went by, he called me. He said, Son is hungry in 5 minutes. He said, and then 63 days later, 12 pups come out. And I don't know if they come a little early. I'm thinking back, and I don't know if they just wouldn't develop good, but I lost 10 of them just real quick in the first few days. And Clone and a male end up living. There was only 2 that survived that. And then I give both of them to Scott Engel. Me and him been good friends, and Scott is living up there with his mom and dad at the time and had a good place to let one run loose. I told Scott, I said, you keep that, you can keep that male. I want that female. I said, I'll give you him for you just letting her run up there, you know, for a year. And I'll come up there after a year and get her. And that's what we done. And so there she come out, and you know, we went to breeding her a little bit, and look what she's.
What is it? 600,000.
Yeah, this been phenomenal. You know, she's just been a
$1,000 bill. Jesse Jane.
The first cross I made, and me and Barry had talked about it. I had Clone in at the house, had Peaches. They both come in about the same time. And I think Clone come in just a week maybe before Peaches. So I'd already called Barry, and he had Zeb again and Billy here. I said, I want to breed Clone, Zeb, and I want to breed Peaches and Billy together. And me and Barry had talked about it. And you know, I can remember the day I brought her up here, and Zeb hungry, and we were sitting there, and we were saying to ourselves, this cross, because we was just thinking back at how they was bred, this cross is going to turn out better than Peaches and Billy. and it did. You had American Express. You had a dog Marty Warren had called Wall Street. You had that Blaze dog that Emmer had that Jamie Painter ended up with, and he, phenomenal dog, had one called Zone. They was, every one of them, I remember right, there was 8 total. One female was only female called Mercy. Kiddy and Sumner ended up buying her from McAfee. And then she was a pretty nice little dog. Johnny Umberger ended up with her. But there was 7 males, and all of them turned out to be pretty fair dogs. But 4 or 5 exceptional dogs. You know, and Coy, like I say, if Express would have lived, no telling what that dog would have carried on and done. And then, you know, getting back to the side that we was talking about with Inot that and Bebe, and then Bebe produced, she was bred to Zeb 3, and out come that phenomenal liver with threesome, and then there was Wheels and Slim that got in the finals of the World Hunt. I mean, it just seems like, you know, and I got the older you get, and I think Tyler wanted me to bring this up because I brought it up to him the other day. You know, I've lived 43 years on this earth, and I guess it took me about 40 years to start thinking of how I got here and thinking about the Lord and what He's done for me and what I've seen and just things that I think if it wouldn't been for Him, it just wouldn't happen. You know, I think I've told this to a lot of people that know me. I think he sends special things down here that entertain you. I guess he knew we was going to be bored down here on Earth. But he give us, you know, Zeb and all them dogs. And just like, you know, you think of it like this, there's been one Elvis Presley. There's been one Merle Haggard. You know, there's people he gives gifts to that's just blessed and entertains us. And that's what these dogs has done. But, you know, me thinking back what I told Tyler when I first talked to him, you know, I followed dogs all my life, and if you know, dogs is beyond or not perfect, and you know, if you spell out dog, D-O-G, that's the opposite of G-O-D, that is perfect. You know, so you think this from that, you know, we out here following these hounds every night. Even the great ones we can talk about, old Zeb and all them that's been phenomenal, they still wasn't perfect. They all made mistakes. There was nights you would want to kill them, just like Barry, or sell them after they make you mad. So, you know, it's just...
Poor man got poor ways. So I had, you know,
this beautiful place we just rolled up today. Ain't this Barry Kiddy's place we're at right here today?
That's right. Home of the Wipeout.
God's blessed me too, finally. But it has been a time that, you know, money talked. I couldn't help it. You know, I had to make money. That's what
Well, we was young back then, and I mean, starting another dog was no trouble to us. And I mean, we didn't really know what we had. Lawrence always told Barry, he said, y'all got something that nobody else has got, and you don't need to be breeding them.
He told me that when Zeb was 12 or 13 months old. He said,
you need to keep 1 pup, 2 pups, and knock the rest of them in the head.
Yeah, he told me not to breed. He said, if you don't, you're going to be hunting against your same stuff. And so now...
He's
like
right.
I said, Wipeout is out there, and it wasn't long that we were hunting against our same stuff. We just seemed to somehow or another kept the top for a long time. But yeah, it's been amazing. I didn't dream of it. I get a lot of the credit. You know, Barry Kiddy done this, but like I said earlier, I bred the best to the best, and I did that all the way through. From the first cross to the last one, you know, we didn't breed no dogs that didn't tree no coons. We didn't even have dogs that didn't tree no coons. I've got a dog here now that's my good friend Jamie Painter come here, and he was going through some rough times, and so he come here and he went to work, and he brought his dog Colt down here, and he got me fired up. On the phone down here, he said he was talking to Ryan Croson, and Croson said, Painter, don't you go down there and get that West Tennessee bunch fired up again. He said it's a lot easier to win around with them not in it. But he did. He got me fired up. And
he's got a little Wipeout in him too, ain't he, Bear?
Yeah, he goes back to Zeb 6 times. He's out of Weapon, which is out of Hellbilly. that goes back to Zeb again. His mother is straight out of Zeb 3 and Gold. Gold was a female clayhead that was out of Moose. So he's eat up with Wipeout. And then I bred him to, I didn't buy him to breed him. I bought him to hunt him. I didn't even think I'd ever breed him. But somebody called Kiddy while he got behind that pen out there. I told him. So he's got a Moose semen female. So I bred her. And I think will be a good cross. She's right straight out of Moose. Well, then Mike wanted to breed a female that he's got that's out of Wheels. Wheels goes back to, I guess, out of Bay Bay.
He's out of
Wheels was Threesome's brother. And so he's out of Wheels and a Moose semen female. So I bought the litter from Mike, and I thought, well, I'm just going to put them on internet, tell people I've got a dog. Because Jamie got a good job back in West Virginia, and he moved off. And so I done bought the dog, so he ain't got no place to keep a dog. So I thought I'll keep him here. So I put a post on. In 15 minutes, I had 9 pups sold. I had 30 pups sold by the time I had to just stop. I'd say, look, I ain't got no more.
Well, I got to ask you an important question. Do you have an entry with this dog at the Jarvis Umpers Memorial Hunt in Vicksburg?
I do.
Are they going to have a camera down there at that hunt?
I hope they do.
Photo.
You remember when I won the Super Stakes with Barbed Wire, and I brought her in before the hunt and got on the loudspeaker, and I held her up there and stretched, said, here's Barry Kiddy with a little barbed wire female, wins the Super Stake. And then it come to happen. We did it before the hunt even started when we was trying the speakers out. ended up winning it, but I probably won't do any good. I ain't got no handling skills or anything left. I'd have to brush up on them. I've gained a few pounds and try and lose them, but I'll do my best down there.
Satisfied you will.
I want to see, the Calcutta goes live today. I want to see how much you go for in that Calcutta.
Well, he's been texting me, wanting his number ever since we've had this podcast. Michael Moody's, Kiddy, I need your number and I need Colt's number, and I ain't even sent it to him yet. So,
but so I know you about to go hunt.
Yeah, well, I got a fella coming, Mason Bush, been hunting with me a little bit, and we're fixing to go for this rain.
All right. Well, before we even think about shutting her down,
I got.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to ask.
One quick. Did you ever hang that name Zeb on another dog without trying it first? Like you had Zeb again. How long did it take you to hang that name on it?
I never hung it on a pup out of Zeb. I never hung it on a pup out of Zeb. And I didn't name Zeb again that. I don't even know what I was calling him.
I think you called him, was it Gator or something?
Gator. Mark Sullivan named him Gator. And I sold him Nickens, and he called him Clayton.
Yeah.
But when I got him back, he reminded me so much. And I called Clay and I called Fergie before I ever even named him Zeb again. I said, look, I'm thinking about naming this dog Zeb again. I just want to know how they felt about it before I actually hung Zeb. It took big shoes for me to hang Zeb again on it.
I was wondering.
But Zeb 3, that boy that come up there that night and bought that dog, he called him Zeb. So he had Zeb his whole night. I thought, I don't know why you calling him Zeb, but he ended up with the right name.
My old buddy at home, Chance Parker, he said if a fella had never heard of a Wipeout dog, didn't know nothing about them, and he gathered y'all 3 up separately and said, I want your best description of a Wipeout dog, what would each one of y'all's 3 be?
Well, in my opinion, a Wipeout dog is going to be a leggy, houndy, long-eared, 80, maybe not 80, 70 to 80 pounds, 60, but good-sized dog. Most of them with good mouths. A real hunting dog, a real gamey dog. And the thing about the Wipeout dogs, is that they're all accurate, but every one of them, Coy, Moose, Peaches, Willie, every one of them, they had different styles about treeing coons, but yet it was all the same. At the end, it was a coon. You know, you was going to have a coon there. And if they was a great dog, in which there's not many of them, all of them was going to reproduce. If they had a change, you know, it's like Zeb just had very few pups. And that's the thing about semen. You know, getting a great dog out of semen, you got to have numbers. You know, because there's lots of litters out of lots of great stud dogs that you get a dog at a tree of coon, but you don't get that great dog. And that's the thing about this line of dogs, you know, that I've not seen in nothing else. And there's tons and tons of breeders out there that's bred and bred and bred. And I may have said this a while ago, but you know, you take when you breed this one and he wins 100,000, and you breed this female and a pup out of that litter, and you know that dog you breed, and you go on 6, 7. You know, since 1993, there's been a great Wipeout dog out there. You know, that's just right at the top or fixing to be at the top, and there's one out there right now that's on top, and that's the Wipeout Z. You know?
Well, you can start at the top, and you can name several on the way down from the top.
Yeah,
that's all Wipeout. And you know, we've talked this whole podcast, and we never have mentioned Hard Rock.
Yeah, and Clayton, you know, and Barbed Wire, you know, she won the Super Stakes. She's out of Moose, and Clayton, you know, and Billy was talking about a while ago about things that were meant to be. When Doug Jackson, and it ain't the Doug Jackson that you know that had Echo, he come down here and bred a female to Moose, and she was supposed to be out of Stylish Coma. And when he run the DNA on the pups, or run the DNA on her to register the pups, it come back as it was wrong. And so he called Terry Bennett, and he said, "Man," he said, this ain't showing. This ain't showing that she's out of Stylish Coma." He said, "Could something else have bred her?" And he said, "Well," he said, "the only thing that was close," he said, was Jeb, you know. And he said he may have got to her. And anyway, you know, they run the DNA on it, and sure enough, she was out of Jeb. And, you know, without probably that mistake, if she would have been bred to, if Coma would have been her mama, you know, he probably wouldn't have been no Clayton.
Conkey's Outdoors knows that keeping up with the latest in hunting technology can be expensive. That's why they are proud to offer amazing financing options, from 30 days same as cash to 0% interest for 6, 9, 12, and even 18 months, depending on your credit score and the amount you spend. If you've been eyeballing that new thermal or want to upgrade to the latest in tracking system technology, go find out more on the web at conkeys.outdoors.com, or if you're in the Hastings, Florida area, stop by and visit. They'd love to have you. Conkey's Outdoors, houndsman helping houndsman.
I didn't tell this a while ago. I didn't talk much about my dad, but he was just pretty much a pleasure hunter, and got me and my brother started hunting. But anyway, before he had bought a female from Ronnie Nickens called Flat Rock Sheena. That was Coma's mama. And Barry can tell you, when Dad got one, they might as well have been spaded, because he wasn't going to breed them. They wouldn't know. He hated pups. So just so happened he had a female there that he was hunting them together, and Dad even said afterwards, he said, "I don't know which one would start it, but one of them would get going, and both of them would be running a deer." And that made my dad mad. He couldn't put up with no junk running or nothing. So Ronnie ended up getting Sheena back, and thank goodness that he did, because when he got her back is when he bred a Buster, and out come Coma. And if that, you know, me thinking about it, if that didn't happen, we wouldn't even be talking. We wouldn't be sitting here talking about the Wipeout dogs.
Sure.
Yeah. That's how precious life is.
Oh, well, amen.
You know, one link that one link, when you miss that one link, that chain's done. It's hard to fix it. It's hard to go back. But you talking about, you know, the style of dogs these are and the time, you know, how much time has been invested in what they're still doing. You know, the two highest priced dogs that I've seen sell, you know, is Echo and Z. And those two dogs right there has both brought 6 figures. I never thought I would see that. And Echo, Doug was down here hunting with Barry, and I hunted with him 2 nights, and it wasn't no problem for me to see that why Doug Jackson had kept him a year, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, Echo's a special dog. And I told Scott the day he got him, I sent him a text that you be on the cover for long. And then it wasn't long that he sent me a thing, said, you was right, Kiddy, but Echo's out of Clayton, and just outstanding dog. But get back to the question, I guess, about Wipeout dogs. I'm sort of like Mike on the size. They used to all have a big size to them. They all had athleticism. They all had stamina. There was no quit in a Wipeout dog. I mean, it's something for dogs to hunt like Zeb did, 18 hours a day. Hunt him in the morning, hunt him the first shift. Clay finished the second one to daylight. They had no quit. They didn't look beat up. I mean, you hunt them 18 hours, they didn't have a hair out of place. And I'm talking about run for miles. We didn't have a GPS, but I mean, they'd be 2 or 3 miles sometimes when a drop. You know, I've cut Zeb over here in the daylight and find him treed in front of Adamsville High School. You know, all I had was a beep collar trying to keep up with him with a coon treat on the outside at 12 o'clock in the day. It was amazing to see what they could do. So heart, desire, stamina, size, athleticism, that's the way they started out. You know, Coma had it. Candy had it. Coma had the smarts. He wanted to please you. He wanted to listen. He would mind every word you said. Candy was right the opposite. Candy didn't look at you. She pulled away from you. She wanted loose, brother.
She could stay treed at 100-degree weather for 2 hours. You pull her off and lead her in a creek, and you could not make her drink.
She wanted to go. There was so much desire in her. She wouldn't even look at you. You know, she looked outside the door. She wanted out. She wanted to go. I mean, that's seeing you again. She never cared if she ever seen you again.
She loved me more than she did Clay and Barry. When I'd get her to house, I'd give her a bath, and that's the only time you could see her eyes. Like, she had the kind of loose eyes. I always had to keep them cleaned out, and Barry and Clay, I'd get her from them after they'd hunted her to death, and I'd kind of give her some rest and you know, baby her more. But and I loved that dog. I mean, she was just so special too. I mean, great thing we had her. To start
one other thing I know people has brought up, because I heard it since. They want to know about Candy's papers. Candy's breeding. Supposed to have been a Strong River Bart, Gilmore's puss. I bought her with those papers. I don't know where they were correct or not. She come from, I think Don Igley had her in Iowa, and Everett King ended up with her, but Mike Engel had got her. That's the first time I'd seen her. And when I went hunting with her, oh my God, I fell in love with her that night. I just had to have her. And them were that's the papers that was on her. I people have said, I don't think them are right or whatever. I don't have a clue. Other people might. I never hunted with any of her background. Eddie may have. I never hunted with any of those dogs before her to know if she acted like them or she didn't act like them. But you know, to me, she's still a measuring stick to this day in coons. I drew James Merchant at the World Hunt, and I was in awe of James Merchant. I hadn't been in many hunts. Candy was my first dog. I really hunted a lot in the hunts, and I drew out with him, and I drew Jeff Travis. He was hunting Topper that I had sold, another dog that I'd sold. Candy had 850 points, and James Merchant was the closest dog to me with 150. And I just kept treeing her. I didn't know no other thing. She just kept treeing coons. Jeff said, "What are you doing?" I said, "She's just striking and treeing." I mean, when she's on, brother, I mean, she made people sell their dogs, give them away. When she's on, it was unbelievable.
It was a wipeout.
Yeah.
It was a wipeout. That's what it was.
I had a dog named 5-Speed, or not 5-Speed. His name was Easy Lead when I had him. Nickens sold Coma.
That was the first dog.
And Nickens bought him from us. That's the first dog he bought after he sold Coma.
Well, I know one night you priced Lead.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was saying. Me and Barry we went to an island. I don't forget whether we went, I think it's maybe in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we Ricky Hawkins and all of us, we had to get on a dadgum little man-made barge and carried us over on the island. And Lead was a nice dog. He's straight out of Lipper. Huge mouth, good tree dog. But Candy treed about 9 singles, and I think Lead finally treed 1 coon. And, that's just how she could do. I mean, he was a above average dog. I mean, when Nickens got him, the Nickens didn't like him, but Nickens never liked nothing after Coma. And anyway, he just...
I know you went to sell Lead one night, and the fella said, I want to... he said, "You got something else you can bring?" And I brought Candy along, and... I ended up selling Candy. I didn't want to sell her, but she just made them. It didn't matter what you went with, really. She would destroy you if she was on. To this day, Ozeb had a few casts like that. Ozeb did that mostly though, pleasure hunting. He didn't do it in competition, even though he won a lot, won the first truck, but.
Let me interrupt Barry a second. Fergie, tell them about what Joe Breelove said one night we was at Crump.
Yeah, we was over at Hunt one night at Crump, and they had about all the cards that come in, and somebody had 175. And they asked Breelove, said, "You think that 175 would get in?" And Breelove said, "I don't know. Is Zeb back?" And they said, "No." He said, "Well, if he gets back," he said, "it ain't going to get in because he'll have 200. And he said, "Don't reason he don't have 200. He's got 400.
I tell you what, sitting here listening to old Barry, I'm sure hoping to get to see him over there in Vicksburg, good Lord willing. But after all these sales, I hope old Coat's still around. I may go tell him don't unpack his suitcase.
What did I tell you, Tyler, when we come? I said, "Barry, I sell Tanya if he could price her.
Tanya ain't for sale."
But Fergie kept everything. I bet he still got the first dollar he ever made.
He drove my truck over here.
Yeah. I'm getting paid now.
Hope y'all don't charge me for it.
We've had fun over the years, so it's just I've been really lucky. I've had the best of everything, and I've had the best hunting horse you could ever ask to own. He was unquestionably the best. And with what I love in hunting, dogs, wife, and kid, and parents, and friends, and job, ain't no way I could have done what I done without working for Barry.
No, and I've had a very supportive wife. I mean, she loves coon hunting. Braden, my youngest son, has been on the cover of the Cooner when he was 2 years old, when he's got his foot throwed over moose. We didn't win the truck, but we got the cover. Same thing, we was on the cover and he won Walker Day Super. I thought Braden would be the youngest coon hunter to ever win this whole thing. I mean, his mother loves it. I love it. But he didn't love it. He loved sports, and that was, he hunted when he was little, but he didn't finish it up. But I've been truly blessed to have the greatest friends around here, coon hunting buddies, and I'm glad I grew up right here, West Tennessee. I mean, Crump, Tennessee, you could go to a little bitty open event on Friday night, and there may be 4 platinum champions and 2 world champions there out of 16 dogs. You know, Mike Creasy, Mac Neal, Hoss Gaines, Tam Young, Timmy Pratt. Yes, sir. Timmy Pratt's won $1 million in 30 miles, Scotts Hill. It's just, I mean, they were great. All these boys, I mean, Tracy Bailey, all these boys still hunt right here.
This is a coon hunting mecca.
The first coon hunt I ever went to, 1985, me and Barry went to Waverly, Tennessee, and it was over 64 dogs. It was full. And I'd never been in a competition hunt, and I was hunting Trader, a blue dog's mama named Wendy. I'd got her from Bill Bell, Billy's daddy. Went and got her in a car, brought her home in the trunk or the back seat of the car, my mother's car. I bought her right after I graduated. And I got in the Final Four that night. We hunted it off. There was no such thing back in it, splitting. And Ted Carroll won it with old Red Baron.
Roy Tramble judged it.
Roy Tramble was my judge both rounds.
And I tell you how tight Fergie was. It was a $20 hunt, and I had to pay half the entry. $10.
I was fresh out of high school and broke.
But he won $187, and I got 90 of it, and it killed him.
And that's where my competition started right there.
Barry, tell him real quick about Lawrence and him. They went to got breakfast one day. And Barry
Billy wants me to tell all these tight stories about Lawrence and Mike, but Billy's the same way. I carried Billy all over the country. Okay, I carried him to Ohio, to Doug Jackson's. Junior stopped the car once, the truck, about midnight, and he said, "Doug, have you and Kiddy got anything left in there? Little Bell's done eat everything out of mine but the carpet." And I know his daddy would give him gas money, but I never seen it. He still got it. But he wants me to tell about Fergie. Yeah, I went up there and I stopped in, I think it's Wilshire, Ohio. We was going to be halfers on everything. Anyway, Fergie and Lawrence, they wouldn't buy nothing. I'd buy pizza and then they'd eat it. They bought bent cans for $10 a piece. Up there, peaches and apples. But they left them when I'd buy pizza. They'd all fly in on that. Well, one morning we stopped there at Wilshire, and there's a bunch of coon hunters outside. Everybody up in that country hunted, and they was out there talking. I walked in, I ordered pancakes and bacon. And boy, and I got a stack of pancakes. When they walked in there and they said, asked that waitress, said, how much is one pancake? She said, 65 cents. They said, well, bring us 1 and 2 plates. And that's the way. That's
I'll
my
never
buddy.
forget that trip. We slept in a dadgum horse barn. Lawrence, we pulled up to a mansion, and they was white rabbits all in the yard, man. The most beautiful place you ever seen. And Lawrence went inside and stayed in the house, and me and Barry slept out there in the barn on horse blankets.
Yeah. Yeah, and I ended up buying an old Scout, and I made money on it when I got back. He didn't buy half of it.
That Scout hadn't been cranked in 2 years, and we was 600 miles from home. And Barry bought that thing, got it out of that barn. You couldn't see out of the windshield. We made it to the first gas station and filled it up, and it was barely running.
Yeah, Lawrence, see, he said we was going to be halfers on everything, thirders first. Well, Fergie didn't want in. You had to take pistons out of it, see if they had any rust on them before Fergie'd buy. But Lawrence
he's leaving out, I was just graduated.
Yeah, well, he's still a little bit the same way. But Lawrence bought half of it. Well, Lawrence got in with me. I had a brand new Chevrolet truck. We all went up there in. So on the way back, Lawrence got in that old Scout with me, and that thing, and it jumping up and down. It had on big old tires on it. And so he said, when we stopped at the gas station, I run it till it nearly run out of gas. He said, what are you going to do with this thing? I said, I'm going to keep it and hunt out of it. well, if you're going to keep it, I might just sell you my half. So I bought his half. Well, I filled it up with high test gas, 93 octane. And I'm telling you, it run like a brand new one. They was running about 75, and I come by and just, whoa, and you could see down his throat how it looked.
Lawrence was asleep under my legs in the floorboard.
Yeah.
And I said, Lawrence, I want you to look over here. And we was running nearly 80 mile an hour. And Lawrence raised up hair everywhere, and he looked over there, and like Barry said, he didn't have a tooth in his head. And you could see a mile down that fella's throat.
I got home. I pulled her in home. And there was some hippies lived across the road from me. They come walking over. Where'd you get the old Scout? I said, I just got it.
Yellow.
They said, we just got back in Georgia on a big carpet job. What do you take for it? I'd give $600 for it. Then I sold it $1,500 right there. Well, Lawrence pulls up. He comes over to the house in about 30, 40 minutes. The Scout's sitting across the road in their yard. He said, why is it sitting over there? I said, I sold it. Sold it? You said you was going to keep it. I said, I done got him out of his half. It killed.
That's Barry's favorite words, and he got it from Lawrence. I don't know why Lawrence fell for it, but anytime you ask Lawrence about selling a dog or a horse, I'm going to keep it. And that's what Kiddy will say, I ain't going to keep it.
What I should say is I'm going to keep it till I sell it.
Yeah.
Hold on to old Colt till after the hunt.
You better hope he does. You better hope he don't get no phone calls between here and there.
Colt ain't going nowhere, I don't think. I mean, I've had some already, some offers. Had one offer. I've had some lookers and some buyers. They know if I keep one around the pen right here, I usually can't keep one. Me and Clay had power trip. He didn't have a bit of Wipeout in him, but I liked him. But, Ashley Guthrie, he had to have him. And so he went, and I bought a litter mate, or a half brother to a cowboy. And he's when John Harris got him now. I bought him off Will Kennedy. He's a young boy, a good hunter right here, and he's got a good wheels pup right now. Yeah, I've always been known to. The money got right. I just had to sell.
You may get a phone call from a tugboat captain. I mean, you've started back. They could be a tugboat captain.
The tugboat captain, Clay, is riding horses. I talked to him yesterday.
He wasn't interested?
Well, he said, I'm going to have to get started back hunting, I think. He said, I'm going to do something. And, he
might have thrown the cork out there in the water right then.
Yeah, and I know we about to ready to finish up, and they're talking about Hard Rock. Hard Rock's one of them heart dogs. Hard Rock was an accidental breeding. I know a black and tan man will do this, but Daniel Bannon, a good friend, he come over here one day and he bought a coy male. He called him Jed as a pup, 6 week old. And he went to Tams, bought a black and tan female, 6 weeks old. He worked on a boat with Clay, and he just wanted to. He wanted to get into coon hunting, so he come here and he wanted to go to pro shop at Jarvis's. He bought lights, boots, a tracking system with 2 pups. He had never been coon hunting in his life, but he bought everything Clay had. Clay had a Brown and saw, and he bought one of them. Whatever Clay had, he bought. He carried them pups home and left them in the pen together. And when they was 8 months old, while he was on the river boat, she came in heat and they bred. So he wanted to give Clay a pup. Clay didn't want no pup. It's just litter registered pups. But he gave him one. Oh, and
I think there was only 2.
That was Hard Rock. The mother died. Right after it. I think it might have been just 2. I don't know. But
it may have been last 2. There may have been more pups in her.
But, he was wild. Clay, Hard Rock was just crazy. He'd do everything in the world. But he had heart. He was doing something all the time. And he got to treeing, and Clay, I hit Clay up a little bit. He said, we always had dogs together, so he gave me half Hard Rock. So first night I carried him, he stuck a stick behind his eye. It cost me about $600 to vet. 3 weeks. 3 weeks he was put up. So he got healed up. Clay hunted him. Clay's on the boat 21 days off, 21 days. Got him healed up. So I was going to go to Iowa. I was going to go hunting. Clay sold a dog box to Tanya's brother in Iowa. So I had my workers, I said, strap that dog box on top of my dog box in my toolbox. I said, strap it down real good because I'm going to put Zeb again and Rock in the dog box, and I'm going to Iowa. So they left the tailgate down. They moved it back, my box back to the tailgate and set that thing. It set right level on my toolbox and that little indention on that 3/4 top storage. And they said they had it all strapped down.
But they didn't know Kiddy was driving.
But they didn't know I was going to run about 100. So we get started and get over on the 4-lane highway. And, buddy, both boxes come out. Me running probably 75 or 80 miles an hour. The box that the dogs are in, they tied the boxes together. They didn't tie them in. They tied them together. Well, they both come out. Well, the box the dogs was in, the doors turned down to the blacktop, and Rock's opened. So Rock was sliding on the blacktop. Yeah, well, he was sliding. Zeb again, it just knocked all the sense out of him. And he had a little cut or two, but Rock was skint, buddy. He had no hide, no hair, no nothing. I called Clay, and here come him and Tam, and like we hadn't got 12, 15 miles from home when it happened. They come got him, and they took him, and they stapled him up, and Tam done all that veterinarian work on him. So I give Clay his half back. 100,000 later, you see how smart I am.
112.
112. Yeah.
It cost you money on a dog that made 100,000.
Yeah.
He was
a good one.
Oh, he was special.
Rock, yeah, he was.
When I had Peaches, he was the only dog I think I dreaded drawing in a cast because I knew he challenged her. That most dogs didn't give her much competition. She's the one that give them all they wanted, but he would give it to her and beat me probably more than I did him. He was in his time. You have to say he was as dominant as they was.
He was alert.
He was so simple on cast because you could hear him at all times. Walking, no matter if he was walking, talking, dogs, trees.
You couldn't get in your truck and drive out of here, and we've tried it. Clay said, let's just drive and see how far we can go, and we can't hear him. And we drove, I don't know how many miles. We never did drive out here.
I told him when he was just young. I drawed him with Chloe one night when I was trying to get me a truck ticket, and I won the cast. But I told him, and he was just, like I said, he was very young. I said, Clay, you got the most simplest competition hunting dog that I've ever seen in my life. I said, you can hear him at all times. You can tell what he's doing at all times. And I said, you don't even have to listen. He's just simple.
We had some good hunts. And then I know I drawed him at the World Hunt when I beat him right that year that Zeb was in his best. And when we treated 6, 7 coons, we drawed Terry Nix. And I probably shouldn't have beat him. I beat him. I should have beat him, but Rock would have probably won the World Hunt. I made a bad call the next cast in the final 6 with Zeb again to go to the final. Zeb again was really on that year, but it was just it was amazing. I know another cast with me and Clay, right over here at Crump, we draw out together, Rock and Ruby, and a kid and a 3-dog cast, and heck. Rock gets out of the country, and this boy's little old dog trees a coon. And I think 50 and 100. Ruby's probably struck for 100 or 75. Rock struck for the other one. And Ruby gets treed in there at the end of the cast, and this boy's dog's just walking around out here with us. And there's about 5 minutes going to hunt, and Clay said, why don't you catch him there, son? And, it won't matter. If Ruby's got a coon, you're going to be beat. Once you catch your dog, he said, no, he wouldn't catch it. So we go to Ruby. She's got a big old tree. And it's a circle tree. I could have said, if I hollered coon, I don't know if Clay would have hollered coon. It's just us two, just us three, but we didn't do it. It was a circle cast. Well, this boy says, Clay, you going with me to get my dog now? He said, no, I ain't going back in there. That's a mile over. He said, I told you catch that dog a while ago. We'll drive around over and get him. The boy called his daddy, and he was mad. We got out to the truck. You won't even go? He said, I told you we'd drive around over there and try to catch him, but I'm not walking back through there. When I give your son every opportunity. He's standing right beside us to catch him. They called PKC the next day. Said Barry Kiddy and Clay Young just cheated us to death. Just wouldn't go get us. And Roy Tramble called him and said, now, let me get this straight, son. He said, you draw Barry Kiddy and Clay Young in a 3-dog cast, and you won, and they cheated you. He said, yes, sir. He said, son, if you won, they didn't cheat you, okay? They could have got you at any minute, but they didn't do it.
That's true. So, I know I hate to wrap it up because it's been awesome. It really has. I know you want to go hunting, but I do thank you for letting us come in here, and thank you for Billy and Mr. Eddie for lining this up, and thank you, Mr. Mike, for your time. Thank y'all for all your time, and I'm sure Mr. Eddie's going to say a few words, but I do thank y'all for this. And I was
wanting to say one thing.
Yeah.
Because Eddie's the one brought this up to me at Texas, and I guess I'm the one that kind of brought it up to get, I wanted Clay in too. I miss that he's not here because he could have added a bunch of stuff that me and Fergie and Barry missed. But getting back to the question, I was the only one, I guess, that didn't answer about the Wipeout dogs. I think I can say it in one word: powerful. That's as good as you can. Once you get the right one, and they got it.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't believe it, let's look at the top of the board. They're the all-time money-winning dogs.
Hey, y'all, this is Tyler, your host of Coon Hunting University. I'm here to talk to you about Extreme Dog Fuel. Whether you're looking for a 30-20, 24-20, 26-18, or 22-12, they have any type of food that us coon hunters need. I'd like to issue a thank you to them for making Coon Hunting University podcast possible. So go to extremedogfuel.com and find a retailer near you and give them a try. I love it. I've been blown away. I swapped to the 30-20, and I honestly hadn't looked back. I mean, I love it. I really do. And I encourage everyone to go over there to extremedogfuel.com. Check them out. Find a retailer near you. Read all about it. You'll see why I swapped to Extreme Dog Fuel.
Start looking down and keep looking down. You'll see a lot of them that's won a bunch of money.
John Wick I was talking to him one year at the World Hunt, and he said, son, enjoy it while you can. And I drawed John that night. He said, one of these days, you'll see all these winners up here like I'm sitting here watching, and only you gonna know where they come from.
Yeah.
I hunted last night, had a real good hunt too. I went with two of my old buddies, Mark and Coy Sullivan. We had a good time, old friendship. They just called yesterday out of the blue. And, they've had some of the best Wipeout dogs too. Mark Sullivan is as good a pup starter as ever was. He started Zeb again. He started Coy. Countless ones that we ended up with. Mark Sullivan just putting the boot leather in with a pup. He probably none no
Ruby
better.
Too? Do you have Ruby?
He had Ruby. Yeah, me and him bought Ruby as pups, and he kept her. And she was 12 months old, and I'd never even been hunting with her. He kept telling me, Kiddy, this little female's doing good. Me and Clay went and bought Wipeout Zeke and give $4,000, $4,500 for him. Nice young dog. And I went over at Mark, said, come over and go hunting with me. And I went over and went hunting with him, and she just destroyed him, just like she struck tree coons. I thought, why didn't you tell me she is doing it? He said, I've been telling you for 3 or 4 months. You won't listen. You won't come over here. But me and Mark was partners on her for a long time, and then ended up, Mark was like me. He had to sell if the money got right. And then, but, they both worked for me a long time too. Coy and Mark, probably 10 or 12 years. And, I wasn't hunting, but they was hunting. They was winning Jesse Jane, $1,000 bill everywhere they went, out of Zeb 3. And, a TDB for $1,000 bill was on everything around here. That's another thing that I wanted to say. You talking about links are missing. It's a shame that Bill went sterile. At such a young age. There's no telling what that dog would have reproduced if he would have
had a change.
He was a winner.
Yeah, I used to say, TDB is too bad for everybody else. But, a lot of people would say that babbler. But I'm telling you, when he is on, he invented coons too. He destroy you in a cast and draw 100 miles. He's like Coma. He'd draw 100 miles, still beat you.
Yeah, Nickens. He didn't lay back on Coma.
No.
If Coma he thought was treat, he treated him.
Nickens, he didn't see him no 75 on no scorecard.
If he did, he killed it.
One thing, when you seen Ronnie, you're going to see two things for sure. When you seen him pull up at a hunt, he was going to have one of the best dogs there, and he was going to have the sharpest truck. In the parking lot.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it. That's what me and Billy was talking about that the other day. He'd either be like being a Toyota or a new Chevrolet. It didn't matter, but that sucker wouldn't have one bit of dirt on it.
He's gonna take up for himself too. He's gonna intimidate some if he could. He's gone now, and he was a good friend, and I loved him, but he'd intimidate some. I remember a cast. Ronnie was bad to have to use the bathroom right after on a cast, as quick as you cut loose.
Nerves.
He'd have to go take a dump. and we went down to. I was guiding in Kaler Bottom down in Kentucky. I love to go down to Kaler Bottom down at Mayfield. I was guiding, and we got to Kaler Bottom, and kids was having a party out there. And we parked right there with his head, and we walked out through there, and Adam Donovan was young, and he's a good friend of Billy's and mine. He was judging the cast, and so Ronnie said, I got to go to the bathroom. Just as we cut him, and Ronnie runs back there, and he's taking a dump. And so one of them kids goes, woo! And Ronnie struck his dog, and Adam Donovan minuses it. He said, "Oh, you're minus, Ronnie," and he's back there. He can't get over here where we're at. What do you mean? Well, you little son of a gun. That's my dog. And he was over there bowed up and couldn't even get over here.
Words now.
Yeah, it was a lot different. He couldn't get over here to argue with us.
I ever heard. Lord mercy, boy.
But he's talked to me, drawed me and Randy both shears, and then one night, and he talked to us like. But then by the time the hunt was over, when he said, boys, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said any of that. Y'all my friends, I ain't, but Lord, he would try to.
He was competitive. The last cast I ever hunted with him against, he was hunting what's that last dog he had? Clayton? Called Clayton? Or
Claxton.
Claxton, that's right. Clayton Claxton. And
he was out of zip again.
And he was loaded. We had a loaded cast that night. We had it was out of Good Springs at a big open event hunt. I was hunting Peaches, Coy was hunting Express, and he was hunting Claxton, and another boy was hunting a good little crossbred dog or an English dog. I can't remember, a little female called Sally. And right there towards the end of the hunt, Ronnie had the cast. How it ended up, Ronnie was going to win the cast. But he was so competitive. He thought he had 200 on his last tree, and he thought 300 was going to could get in the finals. And I'd been helping him. He'd been walking with a walking stick at night. I'd been helping him cross fences, handle his dog on trees, and we get that last tree. Now, Chloe, I think, might have withdrawn and just left me and this boy hunting Sally and Ronnie, and he got out there and he was treed on the edge of a lake, and there was a spider eye. That's what I seen, a spider eye. But Ronnie said, it's a coon. And he kept on wanting us to plus it. And he was cussing us, giving us all up and down. And Derek Kuroda had just called me, and I answered, and I put him on speakerphone. And he said, if you ain't got 500 plus, you ain't no need coming back up here, because 500's on the bubble at Good Springs. When Ronnie heard that, he dropped. He dropped it. But he was wanting. He wanted a cast with 100 plus, but he was wanting that 300 bad. But he was so competitive guy. That was him. He Like you said, when you was going to call and congratulate him after the World Hunt.
Oh, yeah. I called Ronnie. He won the World Championship late Saturday night. So call it Sunday morning, time they hand out the trophy and everything on Old Doc. So I called him Sunday night, and I kind of started out apologizing to his wife. I said, ma'am, I know Ronnie's been gone a lot and he's just now home, but it means a lot to me. I'd like to tell Ronnie congratulations. He's worked hard and long. And like I told Billy, I said, you can look up coon hunter in Webster Dictionary. He should be a picture of Ronnie Nickens, competitor and a coon hunter. Now he's won the World Hunt. So long story short, she says, well, you've missed him. I said, really? She said, him and the boys said they come over and Ronnie was telling them about the World Hunt. They gathered old Doc up and they're going coon hunting tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said he wasn't a TV man. He wasn't going to sit home and watch TV. When it got dark, he's going to hunt.
You said it the best, Eddie. He was a red alert.
A red alert. Believe me. This is not a drill.
Yeah.
This is not a drill.
And I think, and we done talked about that all night. That's where it come from. Nickens didn't settle for less. He had it with Sheena's daddy, and all them. It just, and that's what he meant to have.
I wished that we could have had a documentary thing on Coleman and Ronnie back in that time. I could have, when we'd go to the hunts, and these was back in the days where it was just big added purse hunts, open event hunts. They wasn't no big pro classic hunts. They was a pro hunt here and there maybe, but
Coleman won one pro hunt.
Yeah, I mean Ronnie went to all these big open event hunts. That was what he lived for.
Yeah,
and back then they'd Calcutta these dogs. You got that hunt, they write your name down and be calling your name out just about as quick as you entered. They'd be somebody out there auctioning off the dogs. Any of them hunts back then, and they would be hundreds of dogs entered.
Oh, yeah.
Coma would outsell all of them in the Calcutta. People would be
crazy. $100 at
500.
Yeah, and Ronnie would sometimes he'd have David Carr, Kenneth Guthrie, Fargo, and different ones. Michael Story. They would all to buy him. They would all purse in together just to buy him, because he'd sell for.
Well, let me ask y'all this. Maybe y'all can help me. It was many years ago. I want to guess around 78. First time I ever met Ronnie, he was hunting a dog named Flash. Mm-hmm. And if my memory is correct, Ronnie had got him in the top 20 of the ACHA World Hunt. All he had to do was get the dog caught.
Here's that old flag.
Yep. And he advances. Our rule catch Ronnie, he gets across the water. Well, next year again, Ronnie's sitting here where all he's got to do is get that dog caught, because his first two casts had enough plus points. He gets out of pocket again. He gets across water. And I always wondered, is that why he put a handle on Coma or did that? But Ronnie
probably was.
Because, him and old Flash was a red alert themselves.
Yeah.
And that's before Coma was, and Sheena was
like I said earlier, anytime you seen Ronnie at a hunt, he had two things. You can guarantee the best dog and the best looking truck. Yeah. and that's the truth of it. And I mean, if they could handle what he put them through, he made them good. Because they was going to go hunt. He was going to go hunting. He reminded me, we talked a lot about Lawrence out here. One thing Lawrence Pettigrew was going to have at his house, if you went hunting with him, a dog that was fixing to leave you and go hunting. They might not have done anything else, but you didn't see them, did you, Barry?
No. No, it was amazing. I could tell Lawrence stories now for 4 more hours.
We could talk. We could have a whole nother podcast, and it would be entertaining. I promise.
But you talking about old Flash? I think Flash was Sheena's daddy.
No, he might. No, the River Bend Flag was Sheena's daddy.
I thought Slobber Slinging Slick.
Yeah.
Slobber Slinging Slick was what Sheena was bred to get fancy.
Okay, that's right.
But Nickens always believed in that River Bend Flag. When I'd get to talking to him years ago, and that Sheena boy, she was some kind of tree dog.
Yes, sir.
She was nice.
Yeah.
And I could
like
be wrong
dogs.
again, but didn't Ronnie win the nation with Sheena?
She did. When he bought her back from Dad, he won the national, maybe won the national race with her. I know she won the state. And it seems like, I may be telling you wrong, it seemed like Coma come after she won it, it wasn't me, a year or two went by, here come Coma, and then boom, he's on top again.
Sure.
The first time I ever drawed Sheena, she come treed in there, the first tree. And everybody in the cast but me treed. Ronnie said, there ain't but one dog there. It sounded like it was 3 or 4. She was a tree dog. And there wasn't but one dog there. It was Sheena when we got there. But them other 2 both trees. They jumped on it too.
Well, I know we really hadn't touched on, there's still a lot to talk about. I know we ain't got enough time, but y'all got anything else y'all'd like to say before we sign off? Mr. Eddie, you got something?
Absolutely. Look here, this has been a blessing to me. The good Lord has blessed us to all come together like this as friends. It's been a big time to get around here and talk about these dogs and the memories. We talked about some outside and good things to come. Our best days are ahead of us. I believe that. But if anybody's listening, it's been a blessing. And when I think about blessings, I think about to remind everybody, or please remember that Almighty God, the one that created the heavens, the earth, this universe, He loves us. We're His most prized possession. He truly, truly loves us, and He wants a relationship with us every day. He wants us to talk to Him every day, and we can pray to Him anytime we want. We can read His Word anytime we want, and remember His Son, Jesus Christ, died and took our sins away, give us a pardon, but we got to ask for it, and we got to accept that pardon. And it's ours because He's made it and give it for us. So I just wanted to share that. Please, all of us, remember that. And I'm telling you, fellas, I thank y'all. I have had a big time.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Yeah. Thank you. Y'all load up and we'll go hunting. We'll tell some more of it.
It's hard to do 30 years in 30 minutes.
I'd love to come back and just think if we had Pard sitting right there, Clay sitting right there, Junior right there, Doug right there, and Creasy right there, Mr. McNeil.
You're gonna make me buy another mix. I'm gonna have to have 2 mixes.
But I mean, I'd leave out 20 names.
It's amazing at what Doug and Junior Jackson has done in the style of dogs that they've hunted, all their life.
I can say this: I don't. When I had to hunt with him when I was a kid, he told me, Ronnie would intimidate people. But there was not an intimidating person that, in my opinion, out there no more than Junior Jackson. He just the way he looked, the way he dressed. When I'd go to hunt, I was scared to death to draw him. I'm like, I was already beat before I drawed him.
And you can believe this, Doug Jackson wasn't beat if he drawed him.
And Doug, when Junior quit, Doug kind of took his over and come right in as rowdy as what Junior used to be, but them boys hunted.
Billy was little. We went up there and they was hunting, and Doug was hunting Charlie Manson. And Billy said, I want some at Mason. And he didn't say Manson, but he put old Blue up pretty quick and just went to hunting Zeb and Chopper. He didn't even turn him back loose.
We had old Zeb with us, but that's when he had some skin problems. Barry had to suffer on him, and
Doug said he picking that guitar, and it's just scratch.
One blessing we had with us that we had, and we could talk about this dog a lot. Barry was really blessed to have 2 powerful dogs. May have been in that time as good as they was around here, but Chopper, you could tell you could spend hours on him.
He's just all coon dog. Best all coon dog. One of the best I ever had. It was broke 100%. We opened his coon. I had a good partner. It's just I won the nation with him. As 25 and 50 strikes.
He was the only thing that weekend. Me and Barry talking about going to Junior and Doug's. That was the only thing that weekend that kept us from being embarrassed. That we represented West Tennessee a little bit because I tell you, when you went up there with them, they both drove different trucks and they was serious. And I can guarantee
and still serious.
When they turned the dog loose, that dog had a timeline, and most of their dogs, 10 to 15 minutes on average, had a coon treat somewhere in that country.
One on one side of the road, one on the other. Doug over there shooting CBs. Doug and Junior on the other side shooting long rifle. Yeah. It was just
Two
like
different
daylight and dark.
And I thought I could walk back in. You couldn't, and this was before Junior got in a wreck and kind of got crippled up. But hey, you talking about two men that could walk your guts out. They would
Doug
sling.
Jackson's 65, and he can still roll with the best stuff.
Yeah.
When Doug Jackson's dog trees, he's got one thing on his mind, and that's getting that brass snap on him.
He's going to get it, too.
And he's going to snap him every time. And every coon, when he shoots a coon out, it's going to be dead.
I was the same way. I hunted every night like I was going to go to a world hunt tomorrow. I wish I hadn't done that with Colton, my other son. He loved to hunt, but he loved to shoot everything in the woods, play with it. And I'm going to tell some of these guys got kids because if your son wants to go and he wants to shoot an armadillo, or if he wants to turn flips out there, Colton would pee on top of the Zuzu while we were sitting in it. We'd think it's raining. And them boys said, "It's raining, ain't it?"
Colton on the other side of it.
And I was too serious, and I wish I could change that. He's a good hunter, good handler. Braden don't really like to hunt, but he does talk about it, mention it a little bit now. So I don't know. My daughter went with me one night at Christmas. I didn't have nobody to go. Jamie was on his way home. Me and her went, and Jamie, he finally got here, and we finished the night out hunting colt. It was a good time. So yeah, take time with them kids and get them started, get them going, because they what we got left. I hunted with dirt, dust, and weed ever since he's been a kid. He come up here and went hunting with me when I had Trip, and we, he hunted him a little while. I think he won $17,000 with him in just no time. But he Trip went in that, treat a coon, and his female, they made a tree. Trip backed her, and he didn't normally do that. And then Trip treat a coon. He said, "Boy, he done a good job." So he went on through there, and Trip got treed again. He treed him when he treed. I said, "He's on a leaning tree." He said, "A leaning tree?" I said, "Yeah, I can tell by his mouth. He's on a leaning tree." So we get there, and he's on a leaning tree. He said, "Dang, Kiddy, you forgot more than I know." He said, "I never would have thought that dog. How do you know he's on?" I said, "I can just tell by a dog, on their voice. It's a big tree, little tree. You can about learn one enough, But man, he has done amazing things with these dogs. As a kid, he's the kind of kid that wanted to learn. I train kids that wanted to learn. I mean, Coy hunted with me, Casey Montgomery hunted with me, Jonathan Warrington hunted with me. Kids that wanted to pay attention and be a competition hunter, they could hunt with me. But kids wanting to, I was too serious.
Me and Barry, we used to go to hunts together, and they'd say, your dad's out there on the hunt."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You still owe me that gas money Bill give me.
I didn't hit record.
No, Lord.
Oh, well.
Man, it was great, fellas.
All right.
We are proud to have Conkey's Outdoors as a sponsor of CHU Podcast. Conkey's is your complete hunting and hound supply store. They carry brands like Garmin, Daltra, Dan's, and even Summit tree stands, and much, much more. Whether you're in the market for a new thermal or a new hunting rifle, Conkey's has it all. They even offer financing options. Being a family-run business with customer service that's second to none, it's no wonder why Conkey's is the best in the business. So go check them out at conkeys.outdoors.com or find them on Facebook at Conkey's Outdoors. I really hope y'all enjoyed that interview as much as I did. If you like what you heard here, go on over to Facebook, give us a like at Coon Hunting U. Also, go to Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating and a review. It really helps us out. And remember, if you need a new hunting light, do not overlook Superior. They make an awesome light, best customer service in the business. Man, their walking light and double red is the brightest I've ever seen. Use coupon code CHU Podcast at checkout at nighthunters.com. You can find the link in the description box below this. Coon Hunting University is a product of Audio Hound Productions. Until next time, y'all have a wonderful day.